All right, so I'm just gonna have to use the phone, unfortunately.
Oh, you couldn't get it to work?
No, I
Fuck.
don't know what's up with that. It just decided it wasn't gonna work. I'm gonna have to figure it out afterwards.
Alex should be here shortly.
Okay.
I was just looking at the I don't know if you've ever recorded a Zoom call, but when I
Mhm.
record it, it goes into I don't know, it brings it into this application have called Wondershare Uni Converter or some shit like
Yeah.
that. And it's just I want it to be downloaded as a video on my computer. So I may be able to do that after the fact, but I was just doing a test recording it and seeing what happens when I download it, and it brought me
Right.
right into the Wondershare thing. So we'll
Okay.
figure it out.
You have the Zoom Premium thing?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we have a limited time then.
Yep, we can talk for eternity.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. How have you been, bro?
I've been good, dude. I've been good. Um, that question, anytime I get asked that question, I either just like, oh, I've been good. How are you?
Yeah.
Or I take it upon myself as some sort of fucking profound, how have I been recently? But yeah, I've been good, man.
Yeah,
Living
good to
every
hear.
day. Um, Using every day as an opportunity to learn and to take it easy on myself and to just be here with what's happening.
Mhm.
Yeah, and every day is interesting. Every day, I said it to my coworker the other day. Every single day is like a teaching in disguise. Like there's always something. Some days feel like what you'd call like boring, like just normal. What's that?
Playing some days.
That's weird. When I'm talking and you start talking, your audio is cut out. I don't see
Oh,
a Zoom link. I know it says.
I was saying like some days can be plain though, just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
mundane.
yeah. Okay, yeah. He just told me. Yes. Good old Alex. He had to get some grub in his tummy.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna send Alex the email real quick.
All
Alex,
right.
how is my audio, by the way?
Your audio's fine.
Cool.
You said mine's a little weird.
It's when I talk. When I'm talking and you try to say something, your audio is canceled out. I mean, I guess that's kind of good, so we can't just sit here fucking interrupting each other.
It does
Fucking.
feel weird recording this on my phone though.
Oh, you're recording it?
No, I'm not recording it, but I mean being on my phone doing this.
Yeah, yeah. I know you
I
got
have to, I
the.
have to
Can you
like crop it
go?
up.
Can you go landscape?
Oh shit.
What happened?
Phone fell. Is that
Is there a way for you to rotate? Because it might go to full.
um nope.
I see a dildo on the table.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit. A glass
uh
butt plug.
yeah. A collection of them.
Yeah, like fucking they're on the wall on a shelf. Enormous, enormous size. Oh
There,
shit. Now
there
it's
is
getting
no way.
real. Now it's
It
about to
is.
get real. Oh.
There is no way for me to turn it, by the way.
That's okay. It looks fine.
Sorry, that pizza I was eating was unfathomably delicious.
What an amazing entry, bro. I love that.
I know, I know.
Sorry, guys. I
Oh,
would
you're
have,
already recording.
dude.
Nice.
Imagine, like showing up late to a work meeting, and the first thing you say is, "Sorry, guys, that pizza I was eating was just unfathomably delicious." But we're not working. That's the good part. We're not here to fucking work. We're just here to hang. So you're not Psychonaut Visions anymore.
Hmm.
Fucking Shadow Ascent in the club, bro. I feel like that would be not only good to talk about on this video, but just to catch me up on like, where did that come from? Was that a collective idea between you guys? And when did it really happen? Like, how long have you had that in mind to kind of shift gears from Psychonaut Visions into Shadow Ascent?
I think for a little while we kind of lost a step in terms of what we wanted to do with Psychonaut Vision specifically, because if you noticed on our channel, there was a point where neither one of us were really uploading a whole lot.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like we had the niche originally of psychedelics and the spirituality side of things, and things kind of went in a different direction for both of us. Like we felt like that wasn't really what we wanted to necessarily talk about or focus on anymore, and we kind of sat down uh, one of these days and discussed like what we wanted, some of our goals, what we wanted to do with the channel, and one of the main things was kind of starting from a not ground zero, but kind of beginning something new and
Like a
and
fresh slate.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Shadow Ascent, Alex can talk about what it represents for him, but it kind of, to me, it can mean a lot of different things. I think going into the depths of your own self, of your own psyche, of your own life, and trying to constantly be questioning, analyzing, evolving. I've been doing shadow work this year, like through this book, this journal, and trying to like not run from that dark side or those repressed aspects of myself, but like face them and integrate them into my
Mm-hmm.
life. And so I would say that is a key central theme of what I would say Shadow Ascent is for me, especially in the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that just kind of entails not like cutting out or forgetting everything that we've been through psychedelics with psychedelics, because they've had profound impacts on me, and I'm sure Alex as well. But kind of moving in a different direction now that we aren't really as focused on that.
I had a feeling that's kind of the where it came from. Who came up with the name
I believe it was Alex actually who came up with Shadow
Shadow
Ascent.
Center? I like it. I like it a lot. And you know, Psychonaut Visions was kind of like pinpoint focused on psychedelics and the insights that came out of using them. And like how it felt to you guys was making things that weren't about psychedelics kind of felt like it was straying from the niche, as you said, of what your guys' channel was about. But with Shadow Ascent, like that's a much more broader thing of, because not only does like mental health exercises and spiritual practices coincide with the shadow self, but psychedelics very much so coincide with the shadow self as well. And that's a term that I don't use too often, the shadow self. But your guys's shifting over into Shadow Ascent, you could make videos about psychedelics still, you know what I mean? And now it's included within the vibe of the channel. Now everything is included within the vibe of the channel, you know? But yeah, Alex,
Thing.
what's that?
It's not like we're layering it down to that just psychedelics and that's all we can be, because I think that's kind of what Psychonaut Visions was sort of implying by the name.
Yeah, Psychonaut Visions. That's funny.
Yeah.
Shadow Ascent Visions.
Shadows.
Alex, what's the transition rather feel like for you, man?
Yeah, I apologize to anyone who's watching this, or you guys too, for I'm all distracting over here. I'm like chugging my water over here.
It's okay,
And
bro. You're getting settled in, dude.
and I had to go grab my charger. And I'm like, okay,
You
hopefully
need
it's
some
not.
more.
But
You need some more pizza.
no, I still have 2 slices of pizza left. I'll finish it later.
Mail me one,
I
bro.
need to rehydrate.
Well,
Shadow Ascent. The idea for me was to eventually rebuild the YouTube channel into something different. It's just at first it started off all fun and games, and I was passionate about it. And
What, Psychonaut Visions?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was passionate about it at one time because psychedelics helped me through a specific time period. And I went through that period of growth in my life where I'm I felt more alive and I felt like I was thriving and engaging in more of like what I would consider to be my spiritual awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And things got darker and deeper. And then as time went on, I never really integrated these experiences fully and into embracing adulthood and moving on from childish behaviors of the past. So I kind of just became complacent and stuck, and I felt like I couldn't speak my authentic truth anymore. And psychedelics didn't seem like something I was really interested in anymore. So it wasn't really until the end of last year, maybe like the last 3 months or so, so last quarter of last year, where I started considering this shift. And I think it was when Will and I we made a trip report about our most recent experience, which was really heavy. And in that experience, I'm not going to go into details right now, but it was that video that kind of gave me a little bit of momentum. And hey, like, there's more that we can do with this. It's just a matter of time before we should make a shift to something different, because Psychonaut Visions just doesn't resonate with me anymore, and it doesn't resonate with Will as well. So
Mm-hmm.
as time went on, finally I just said, hey, let's commit to something. I ended up sitting down one night and I made a logo. It took me a couple hours, but I made a logo and I thought it came out really nice. And I was trying to think of names, so I came up with the name Shadow Ascent. So
Mm-hmm.
using ChatGPT, try to use it to generate me some ideas of like what we could do. And Ascent just made the most sense in terms of going up the mountain you're ascending,
Mm-hmm.
and then really the dark side of the mountain, and exploring that, and really like trying to embrace the light and dark aspects in contrast of life.
Mm-hmm. I love that so much. And just to tell you guys both right off, like, I don't know how long it's been titled Shadow Sun, probably a couple months now, yeah. Something
About a
like
couple
that.
months. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been seeing your guys' more frequent uploads, and you guys have this beautiful, like, the way that you guys share and express and what you offer on your channel and how you teach is through, not through talking about specific methods or techniques or fields of study, or you know what I'm saying? You guys shared your direct experience with how your fucking day went and how your week went and what's been hard for you and what's, you know what I'm saying? And I love that so much, because the way that you guys teach and share is by literally just talking about where you're at. You know what I mean? Like, it's in a way like I've considered my YouTube channel like kind of like my diary, you know, at times, where like I'm really just sharing what's on my mind and how I feel about reality and emotions and situations and life and all these things. But I feel that more so with you guys in the way that you just get on, you start a video and you talk about how you feel and you talk about what's been hard, and what you're sharing to the camera is what, the way it feels to me, is what you guys are working on in yourselves. You know what I mean? You're offering what you need to be hearing. You know what I'm saying? And it's so beautiful. It's like you're filming your own growth, your own ascent, your own development. And I noticed that in particular with your last video, Alex. I think it was your last video of being in the car ride and listening to Myth by Beach House, right? And dude, I actually listened to that song, like watching that video, because music is so fucking beautiful. Music, like I was telling you, I think like half of my playlist, my music playlist, is music that is so nostalgic to psychedelics and awakening through that, and the profound states that I've found myself in. And it's almost like sometimes when you're listening to, or when I'm listening to music, like it's like this music video collage of my life unfolding and my destiny and how much I've changed and how much I've been hurt and let down and the shit that I've been dragged through and then overcome and all the developments of myself. And you talking about the experience you had in listening to that song and then crying and thinking back to that period of your life and showing the clips from that video, it was just really beautiful. And I felt absolutely where you were coming from, because like I've felt that before, because I don't take psychedelics nowhere near as much as I used to. And I don't say I'm not interested in it, or I've moved past that period of my life and it's a new chapter and that's over with and stuff. But sometimes I can have that feeling, that period of my life where it's when we met and when we started talking, and the experiences that I was having and my willingness to work with those chemicals and to experience those states. And every fucking day, bro, I'd just be thinking about psychedelics and like thinking about the experiences I'd have and thinking about wanting to try this one. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful period of my life. And watching that video of yours, Alex, was really beautiful, because I just related with it so deeply in just the moving of life, the moving of life and how much we transform. And like this period we're in right now is something we're going to look back on and be like, like I've thought like, damn, like, was that the peak of my life? Did I peak at 20 years old? Is it all fucking downhill from here? And like the good days are gone,
That's the trippiest part about it. Sometimes you don't realize it's the good old days until years have passed.
Yeah.
And like looking back at that, I definitely resonate with the being so enamored by psychedelics that you're constantly thinking about them. You
Yes.
want to, go into like, when's the next trip? What am I going to do? Like, how many grams is it going to be? Where's it going to be? And you ask all these questions, and then, at least in my experience, it got a little bit darker, more sinister, and a lot more serious. It lost that sort of elementary tone to it.
Yeah, that honeymoon
And
phase kind of
a
thing.
honeymoon. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a big reason why. Like, I used to want to, and it was mostly mushrooms, um, indulge in that, 4 or 5 times a year. Now it's like maybe once every couple years that I would want to consider it.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, it's just not like a staple that's there. Again, like I would say, like you said too, it's not like I've just completely moved past it and um, all of it's gone, all of it's a distant memory now.
Yeah.
There's still like integration. There's still a lot that I'm realizing, and a lot that I'm fascinated by psychedelics still.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever lose that, but it's it's a little bit less, because it feels like I've kind of gone from this like child that's being so fascinated by it to this more in like an adolescent, early adulthood with psychedelics in particular of, oh,
Hmm.
this is actually serious.
Yeah. I mean, just to be completely blunt and honest with you guys about it, like, it's not that I'm not interested in psychedelics whatsoever. If you don't think psychedelics are interesting, you just need to take it, and it's fucking interesting. It's fucking really interesting and really far out. So I'm not in a position of thinking that they're not interesting or fascinating or worth my time. What it is for me is I'm fucking like, just to be completely honest, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm fearful of that space. And I've thought every which way about what it is about that space. Why am I scared? What is it that I'm scared of? Am I afraid to lose my mind? Am I afraid to is it a fear of losing control? Is it thinking I'm gonna go insane and I'm never gonna come down? And I've thought, is it am I afraid of the feeling of fear itself? You know, I've thought every which way about it, and like I don't have a concrete understanding of why I feel fear and intimidation towards working with psychedelics, but like the way it feels to me is just that I'm in a position right now where I don't feel the calling to work with psychedelics, and when I look into that, it's like, well, you're just afraid. But at the same time, I feel like, because I feel like everything is on purpose, and it's all happening just as it should. It's all happening perfectly, you know. And right now I'm in a position where I'm not, like you said, Will, enamored by working with psychedelics, and a time will come. I'm not, like you guys are saying, I'm not busy not taking psychedelics. I'm not like, oh, I don't take psychedelics anymore. No, I do. It's just been a while, you know what I mean? But yeah, like back when we were all talking and having our first collabs, and you know, just like 3 years ago or so, 4 years ago, I thought I was losing my fucking mind. I thought I was like, the shit that I was experiencing experientially, as far as awareness and identity and my orientation to life and self and meaning and purpose and what is consciousness and what is reality. I was being open to some shit through these psychedelics that I began to increasingly become afraid of. And that's what's hard to talk about, is what it was that I was afraid of, you know. And um Carl Jung has a quote, beware of unearned wisdom, you know. And what that seems like it's kind of pointing to is our ability to venture off far into the lands of fucking mystery and awe and wonder and chaos. Um, we can all do that. We can all go out really far, wander really far from home, but I think it's really important who it is that shit is occurring to, you know what I mean? So like part of my fear towards not working with psychedelics right now actively, I think is it's an intuitive pointer, like you were talking about, Alex, to take the time to integrate and digest the madness and beauty and profundity that I was experiencing through the psychedelics, you know. And it's been hard on me, like feeling insecure, like I'm like not courageous enough, or I gave up, or I can't surrender, or my ego is huge and that's why I can't take psychedelics, and all these things of these other people who can and still do work with psychedelics and in big doses, and they don't seem to have any sort of problems whatsoever. And they're like, oh, you just got to let go, man, and you just got to surrender into it. It's all good. And it's like, I just have a hard time working with that, because there's something in me that's just like, don't work with psychedelics right now, you know what I mean? And it's been rough and rocky and confusing to me, but I've come to feel that it's for a divine purpose, you know. And when I do psychedelics again, it's for a divine purpose.
I find that what you're, not you specifically, but what you can be afraid of, I'm talking just in second person tense, is that silence, the silence of it. It's really loud. It seems like
That's interesting.
it's very like, because it's, when you're sitting there and you're kind of just observing everything going on, whether it's like you observing what's going on internally in your head, or whatever you're seeing physically, like outside of you and beyond you, it it just feels really dragged out, and the silence is really loud. That's how I seem to experience it, is that silence is loud, and it's this weird state of neutrality that has the potential to drag you down into a spiral.
It's so, I feel you, bro, and it's so fucking like, I wouldn't call it the silence, you know, but I feel like I feel what you're talking about, you know what I mean? To me, it was the fact, looking at the sheer fact that I exist and how I don't know what that is. And I don't know what the I is that doesn't know what it is. I don't know what reality is. I don't know who I am. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know who you are, who you are. I don't know what anything is. And seeing the seeing how I walk around every day acting like I'm somebody, and seeing the constructs of the ego and seeing the mystery of reality, it fucking scared the shit out of me, you know? And it's never been the visuals. I've never been afraid of the visuals. I've never been afraid of how it feels in my body. What I've been afraid of is my own fucking mind and my own perception of reality. You know what I mean? And that was what was like, when you call it silence, for me, it was a feeling of like sitting back into the mystery of, I don't know what the fuck reality is. None of us do. You know what I mean? And like really, really sometimes being eaten alive by that feeling of not knowing. And that's the shit that kind of precipitated the fear of going insane, or the fear of becoming psychotic or schizophrenic, or disintegrated from society and personality and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, it really, like, the thing that puddles me the most is the way it unmasks all sorts of boundaries, and the way that, we are, or the way that we go about life in an individual and a collective. It completely shatters that, like the
yeah,
psychedelic experience. And it's in on one hand so divine and fascinating and like just mystical, but on the other hand it's fucking terrifying.
yeah, exactly. And
And
the one to which it's a terrifying is like for me saying, oh, it's terrifying, I can feel how that's coming from the culturalized Western ego that doesn't want to let go of what it thinks reality is, because it thinks it won't fucking come back, you know? And it's like, oh no, that's scary. I can't be doing that right now. I need to integrate what I've learned. But at the same time, it's also, the integration could come in doing it again. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a multifaceted thing, a double-edged sword, where I can feel that the fear and how I'm relating to psychedelics at this point in my life is right on and beneficial and feels good and intuitively good in myself. But I can also feel how I'm in a way trying to hold back the power of reality from making its way into my perception. You know what I mean? I'm trying to take it easy. I'm trying to chill out a little bit and kind of center and ground myself. And that's another thing, is feeling like wanting to ground myself in Ram Dass, who is somebody, I don't know how much you guys have listened to him, but he is an amazing being that I love so much. He talks about how it's important to become somebody before you work on becoming nobody, because that's really like what I was diving into with all this shit, not only psychedelics, but with the Eastern mysticism of Hinduism and Buddhism and these kinds of things, of the process of recognizing that my sense of individuality is just an occurrence within the mind, and there isn't actually someone that I am. I exist, but I'm not who I think I am. I am not the idea of Devin, or the idea of a human, or the idea of a man, or all these things. And it's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Like you said, it's beautiful, but it's also terrifying. And I'm just in a position of trying to take it easy, trying to find that balance of like, just take it easy, not fucking dive headfirst into the wonder and then not be able to process that, not be able to utilize that in a beneficial way for me and for other people, you know what I mean, where I just end up a blabbering mess that's completely dissolved out of the system of society and culture and service and those kinds of things, you know. So yeah, just trying to take it easy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think like grounding activities, we could talk about that too. Like finding ways to, and this to me, one thing I've realized is that I really value like a level of peace of mind just in my own self and my own life. And that's something that psychedelics, quite frankly, can strip from you completely. Is a level of just like ease and groundedness. And I want to start getting more into like meditation again because it's something that I just have not really taken the time to do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely need to like learn essentially how to do it. But also like exercise. I think that's become a huge way for me to just free a lot that kind of just resides, like it just sits there, just a lot of built up, pent up energy, emotions, and all sorts of feelings. And so being able to just go for a run, go to the gym, um, is like a huge benefit for me. And I think that's something that I wouldn't say like I have learned or taken from psychedelics, but at least in terms of trying to find healthy and manage healthy ways to do that, is probably a large, or at least stems from some of the first experiences that I ever had, where it was all about just the natural, the nature around me, the world around me, um, and how like how words can't even describe it. Like
Yeah.
it's so just there. It's just here. And finding like moments where you can do that and put yourself in that situation where you're not going everywhere in your own mind,
Mm-hmm.
and you're kind of just here in presence. Like exercise has been the biggest way I've been able to discover that state, that sort of Zen uh, presence or state of being.
And what are the qualities of that state of being, that presence that you talk about? What does it, how would you describe that state? What is that state like to you?
Um, I would say it's like I don't. We all overthink. We all have so many thoughts going on in our head, but whenever I am in that sort of state, like I don't really think or react off of thoughts. I kind of just am moving, am present, am doing, and it's just experiencing, which sometimes we can forget what life is literally just an experience. And being able to get out of your head is very difficult. I struggle with that a lot, but yeah, like it's not like I'm not thinking at all when I'm in that position, but uh I don't know.
It's trippy, man. It's
Yeah.
trippy. It's trying to get out of your thinking is the very fucking problem, because you're sitting there thinking, I'm going to get out of my thinking by doing X, Y, and Z. But that
Yeah.
itself is the thinking. And I feel like a major important thing, and not only meditative practices of coming into the moment, but just fucking in life, is being able to develop the space of ourselves that is liberated from thinking, where you know that you're not your thoughts, you're not the ideas, and how the ideas bring you to do this or that. Your ideas, you have an idea, a desire and a craving, and then you go and do that, and then you beat yourself up because you did it, or you want to go and do that and you get let down because it didn't happen. And your thoughts and your feelings and all the analysis you do of the day, and how that person treated you like shit, and how you feel inferior to that person and you're not as good as that person, or you feel like you're better than that person, and all of the dynamics of the fucking mind. It's exhausting when you think that's who you are, but being able to develop a space that is liberated from that, and not a space where that thinking stuff isn't happening, but a space where it's happening but you are not that, and it's a feeling of allowing your mind and realizing that you are not merely your mind. And like the Greek quote, I think, therefore I am. You know, Ram Dass talks about how it's more accurate to say I am and there is thinking, meaning the I that is free of the circumstances of life and the thoughts and the emotions and desires and all of that stuff, being able to touch into that place and nurture that place of us that is free as it is. You could be happy as hell, or you could be in the depths of suffering, and you're free because you are. You know what I mean? And that's fucking complicated because it's completely counterintuitive from the culture that we're all a part of, where we need to have this to be happy. We need to have this to have a good life. We need to have this amount of money, or we need to have this status and career and all of that nonsense that once you do this, then you will be happy. That's why we're all fucked. That's why we're all fucked and suffering and sad and feel like we're failures and feel like we're better than everyone and all this bullshit, all this hierarchical bullshit of the mind. And we're still suffering. We have the big house and a mansion. Like, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but the amount of celebrities that have realized that the riches and the status isn't happiness, that's it right there. It's not in the hedonistic approach to life. You know what I mean? And exercising and meditating and good diet and good people, associating yourself with good people and studying and researching, all those things are, to me, ways of just tuning, like you were saying, Will, just tuning back in to the fact that you exist, the presence of I right now. We all have a little experience going on right now. Alex, you're sitting there being. You're sitting there happening. Will, you're happening. I'm happening. It's all just happening. You know? And being able to touch that point is so fucking important to me.
I think it's like the luxury, like you mentioned, of the celebrities, you know, a lot of it's like from this notion that you have to go outside of yourself to find it. But I do believe like a vast majority of it is internal. Like, don't get me wrong, I definitely think that you can get a level of freedom when you make a certain amount of income. It's definitely nice. Obviously, like I said, it's a luxury, but the true like peace, awareness, and like personally, I don't like to really use happiness because I think it really is a feeling that just kind of goes all over the place. But at least peace and awareness and sense of I don't want to say reality, but it's all within.
Mm-hmm.
It really all is within. And through that, there's a lot of like realizations that you have to go through. I mean, think about how young we are, right? Devin, you're 22, right?
Yeah.
So 22, Alex and I are 23.
I'm 22 and a half.
22 and a half. Oh, my bad.
Put on your big boy cape, man.
Yeah, dude, I am almost an adult. I think it's gonna happen at 25. That's gonna be the big reveal when it happens.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah. But
Sorry,
regardless,
yeah, what were you saying?
we've been children and teenagers and adolescents for far longer than we've been, you know, these adults or these grown-ups. And so I kind of forgot where I was going with that.
It's okay.
But
It's okay.
but like over the past few years, especially because like, you know, it's been roughly 5, 6 years since we even graduated high school. Like that's really a huge part of discovering who you are, both, you know, externally and more importantly, I would say internally, and kind of coming to terms with things that happened, you know, where you grew up, who you are. And it's such a long process, but the fact that we're still this young, I mean, it's I don't know, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Life is fascinating. The whole
Yeah.
fucking thing. I think it's so good to be doing what we're doing, you
Yeah.
know, to be actually involving ourselves in the process of working on ourselves. It's what else are we gonna do? Pretend we're not aware of this shit? You know what I mean? Alex, how are you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Um, Not gonna lie, this pizza kind of just like made me crash. Um, like I got so tired out of nowhere, like because I ate it so quickly, and then I'm like listening to you guys talk, and I'm like, I'm too lazy to add anything right now. But then that's just making me more tired. So, um,
That's fucking
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
Gotta add something. Put something on the table, bro. We
add
need
some
content. God,
content.
God forbid there be the silence. No
I keep
silence
looking
allowed.
like I keep being too subconscious about like my posture. I'm like I feel like my head's like too back while I'm like listening. I'm like I don't know. My mind isn't completely present. But anyways,
You better be sitting up straight. We're making a
Yeah.
fucking video. We
it's
need to be
this
real and professional, and we need to be talking every single moment of this whole video.
every single moment.
Yeah.
The wheels sitting up straight.
Oh shit. Oh god, it's quiet. Fuck it.
Anyways,
I'm deleting my whole YouTube channel. I can't. I
Oh, dude, please don't delete it.
yeah.
I don't know what I would do if you did.
Really?
Yeah, you're my saint.
Damn, dog. Damn. I didn't know you felt towards me that way, bro.
No, I swear, man.
I know. I'm kind of always thinking about you, Alex. Now that I think about it, you're just always on my mind, man. Like I talk about all this crazy shit, but that's like secondary. That's like auxiliary to the fact that I'm just thinking about you all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anyways, as a viewer, you probably left already, but if you stayed, hey, we're here. And I know Devin over here was talking about studying and working on yourself and in ways of being I and ways of being present with yourself. And I know for me, pushing myself cognitively has been something that I'm really trying to work on because in the past, I couldn't sit still and actually focus on my computer. It was just easier for me to choose to smoke weed or something along the lines of that and forget about pushing myself in other areas. And I really didn't hit a place of growth until recently, it seemed like really transformational growth. And I'm taking a course right now. It's actually the final course I had to take for school. And for school, for context, I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree, but I have hardly learned anything because I haven't taken school seriously. I had a bad mental perspective on life for a long time. I'm like, oh, like what is the point of this shit? Like, why do I gotta do this shit? Like, fuck this, follow your passion. But I don't I never knew what my passion was because I never took directed action towards doing anything. I'm like, oh, what is my purpose? I'm so focused on what is my purpose, but then I don't really know what my purpose is because I haven't actually tried anything. And it's been so hard for me for a long time to accept the fact that life just is difficult, man. Like that's just that's just the way it is.
Oh
And
shit, man.
no matter what you do, like whatever career path that you take, whatever, there's gonna be days where you're like, like I don't even want to do this shit, you know. But but then you choose to come because there's a higher meaning that it has for you. And for me, with this course, it's health coaching techniques course. So I am ultimately this course is actually optional. I don't have to take it. I could opt out to take an easier course to finish my degree, but I'm choosing not to do that because this course could give me clarity on what I want to do with my future and if this is something that is a viable option for me and it is also pushing me out of my comfort zone to 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 really like learn, number one, but number two, interacting with people. I find like that I have this cringe feeling that comes off and on. And I think a part of what contributes to that is my lack of interaction with people, or at least the lack of effort in interacting with people. I'm
Wait,
naturally
you have cringe towards what?
like just the experience of living as a human being and
Yeah,
how we function in society. And for example, let's say I'm scrolling through Indeed or LinkedIn or something looking for a job
yeah,
posting. It seems really cringy to me to read all these bullet points of a job responsibility, and how we have to play this game in order to find these positions just to be able to make this currency in order to survive.
yeah.
And it's just like a lot, and for me, I think I, I need to interact with people more. I need to learn how to be more affirmative towards others while also being more empathetic. What's with the thumbs up? Anybody else see that?
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that. I saw it earlier too. Here,
oh,
do little
that's
emojis or some
cool.
shit. That was
But yeah,
cool.
being affirmative and empathetic, those are skills that aren't necessarily something that I ever grew up learning. Being raised by a narcissistic father and seeing the way he treated people around me, so, and the way he treated me as well. So I, I'm like trying to learn how to be more comfortable with expressing, I guess, what you would call love towards other people, be more comfortable with complimenting people and expressing genuine love towards them. It's something that I'm just not comfortable with, being with that intimacy. And
Will you feel like will you feel a moment like just for example, like you think uh like someone looks really good, like, and it doesn't even have to be like a romantic thing or a sexual thing, like being like, hey, you look really good today, man, or like, yo, I saw that thing you did the other day, that was really cool. Is that what feel like, do you feel within you the feeling of wanting to express that spontaneity of love, but then there's like a, oh, that's weird, you know?
yeah, it's because it feels almost cringy and unnatural to me because of the way I was raised. And I always seem to have this negative talk in my head
Yeah, I think a lot of us do, man.
for as long as I can remember. So like it's almost like it's like a trigger of my own pride, and just, oh, I'd rather not even like say anything at all. But then it just makes me more anxious because I know I'm capable of more and
Hmm.
expressing more towards others, but then it's just like I hold that feeling in, and then it causes me to be more tense and shut down. So this course, to tie it back into that, my intention behind it is really to honestly just become a better person at the end of it, and proving to myself I'm capable of finishing something that I actually put my full effort into, because it's very intense course, like the most intense one I would have ever taken up to this point. So really trying to dive deep into learning and that process of committing myself to the learning process in life, and just not just applying that to my education through college coursework, but also professionally as well, and growing to a place where I feel like I've reached self-actualization. I don't think I'm quite there yet. There's a lot of work I need to do, and I put in a lot of work already, but that grind is day in and day out, and you can't stop at any point. Yeah,
Can't stop, won't stop, baby.
yeah, at any point you should rest at some points, but like the grind never really stops. You have to continuously think about how you're going to improve yourself. Uh,
The question that comes to me is, what are we grinding for? It's the same thing you were just talking about, of looking at the Indeed ads and all the responsibilities and how I have to hang out at this place for an X amount of hours a week to make this fucking paper that amounts to something. And you know what I'm saying? That cringiness that you were describing, I relate to that so much, bro. And like, that's part of what I'm talking about, of that, with the psychedelics, like that alienation from the grind, from the rat race, the cultural rat race of graduate and go to college and get a job and get a wife and become successful and become somebody and fucking do it, you know, do life, become, acquire, become, gain, grind for, you know what I'm saying? What's it all, what are we trying to get to? You know what I mean? Is it a feeling of what is it, a feeling of our own well-being, of a sense of power, where since I have enough money I can go there and buy that and do that? And is that it? Or are we thinking of a feeling of self-worth, of now that I've done this I can think highly of myself and be satisfied? Is it about what other people think of us, where if I put on this facade of being someone important and having acquired and accomplished all this stuff, then everybody else will say, oh wow, you're so wonderful. What are we looking for? You know what I mean?
Is
Like,
to see everything as an opportunity for growth. That's what it is.
yeah, I feel that, bro.
I mean, life, I mean, the reason why it seems like we all go through suffering is because there, I mean, that's just like what life is. Like, we have to go through things, just be able to grow. Like, that darkness is present, but like the light would never make any impact if there was no darkness, you know? Like, you have to
Right.
sit in that. And a big part of the grind is that self-discipline and doing what you feel like you need to do, and in order to come to a place where you feel like you're not necessarily, I mean, happy, but um where you feel like you're reaching your full potential.
Yeah, I
Or
like that a lot, bro. I like that a lot. And to me, that's kind of like everything I just listed when I was talking a minute ago is worldly shit of power and status and authority and that kind of shit. But what you're talking about, Alex, of being your full potential, arriving at your full potential, giving your best at everything you're doing, and taking everything as an opportunity to grow. That to me is a little different. You know, you're not trying to get rich. You're not trying to get popular and famous and powerful. And you're not trying, you know what I'm saying? You're not trying to make people think highly of you. You're trying to fucking just be the best that you can, period. And there's no ulterior motive as to why you're being the best why you're trying to be the best that you can, other than the fact that you feel that that's what you should be doing, is growing and developing and fulfilling your potential, you know? And I feel like that is, to bring in the word spirituality or divine, that's a divine purpose, you know? It's not to fucking become someone in society or to have enough money so that then you can do that or do that, you know? It's not about that worldly shit. And I mean, some people vibe with that shit. Some people vibe with that, where they work to get enough money so that then they can relax and do all the things that money can allow you to do. Other people are chasing after this dream so that they can feel like they're somebody in society and they're important and authoritative and all that shit. But I feel like what we all kind of have in common is the sense of divine purpose, of divine growth, of spiritual growth. You know what I mean? So that's why I like you guys so much.
Love you too,
the
bro.
latter never. Oh, go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, I've been guilty at times of trying to kind of compare. I mean, we all do, but compare myself in terms of the materialistic side of things, and on whether I see something on Instagram or anywhere on social media, and kind of just reflecting that back onto myself as if someone is doing something and that means I'm not. But that is the divine purpose you're talking about, because it's like I the one thing I've said, the only comparing I want to do is to who I was, or where my life was yesterday. Like I want to continuously take certain steps, and that goes for something like a career, sure, but that also just goes for growth and inner development and the inner work and the realizations that come with it. And that is a process, like Alex said, you have to face some dark things, like, and that can be things that are in your control or out of your control, but you can't just, you can't run from them. A
Mm-hmm.
huge part of it is literally just saying or confronting that fear, that feeling, that emotion, the trigger, whatever it is. And I've definitely had a hard time doing that in the past. I feel like it takes me a while to like come to a certain realization, to make a particular decision. But what I've realized is that I do want to live life trying to just be the best man and human that I can ultimately be, and live this life that's been granted to me. That I don't know
Yeah.
how exactly it was granted to me, but just appreciate it and embody like the four most important traits that I've realized to me are love, discipline, humility, gratitude. Like those are the four things that I kind of want to be living through every day, or as often as I can. And that goes for like for love, for one, self-love, but also compassion towards other people. Alex, you also mentioned the struggle in like being or at least saying affirmations towards people, the intimacy in that regard. And I too have struggled with that. It is a little cringe sometimes. Hey, nice hair, bro. Like
Even something as
it,
simple,
it, it
oh,
feels,
nice flannel you're wearing.
yeah, it
Something
feels,
as
it
simple as
feels,
that.
and it feels weird to do
Is
it.
that is that a zit on your forehead?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
that's a
Uh,
great compliment.
Damn, bro,
Someone, someone needs to study.
you smell like farts, dog.
but yeah, like that's sort of the love thing. I feel like it's not such a huge thing. It's very small ways of expressing it like that go a huge way, and that's even to
Yeah.
yourself. Like looking in the mirror sometimes and saying affirmations toward yourself, that too feels just as, if not more, cringe. It's like look yourself in the eye without being somewhat amused or cringed out and say I love you,
Right.
like and or any type of affirmations. But also the discipline side of things, like if you have to hold yourself accountable in some aspects, like because as humans, like we were talking about, that flow state of mind that you can reach where you're not so like aware or conscious of the thoughts that are happening, you kind of separate from that. um if you want to reach that, like you almost have to earn it. You can't just it doesn't just spawn, it doesn't just happen for you. um so I feel like finding ways to do that and being consistent with it, it's difficult because you have to do something to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's important, and then the humility, like recognizing the limits, the limitations of being human or just being, like we're all gonna die.
I can't fly.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Like,
Uh, and then just the gratitude, like just every day, like saying those what is I'm grateful for and appreciative of.
yeah,
Like that's kind of how I want to go about it. But go
I
ahead.
love that. I love that a lot, man.
Yeah, the ladder never. What I was trying to say earlier is the ladder never ends. Like you just keep
It's
climbing.
just an infinite ladder.
I mean, you keep going up the ladder, and then maybe like there's a platform. You reach that platform, you're like, oh wow, nice view. But then there's another ladder above that to climb into a higher view, and then it just keeps going, going, going. Like I don't know. You guys or Devin, you're talking about just the material aspect of
Yeah.
what maybe people are motivated by and the grind, I suppose, like, oh, I want this and that. Then you reach that, and then you don't actually really feel fulfilled because you never were experiencing the journey for what it was. It was just
Mm-hmm.
all purely for this specific outcome, but that's not how I think of it. It's
Yeah.
continuous. It doesn't really end, and that's the hardest part. Is like trying to really accept that because there are days where I'm like, fuck, dude, I have to go to the gym all the time like this. Like this fucking sucks. Like
Yeah.
going in the gym sometimes and like just hitting legs because and just punishing myself doing something I don't even want to do, but I'm doing it anyways for the for the purpose of discipline and quieting that voice in my head that's trying to convince me to stay comfortable and do other things that don't really serve me.
Yeah, I
But
feel you,
yeah,
homie. I absolutely feel what you're saying, bro. It's the like it's the confusion of fucking reality. Like, what are we doing here? What how am I gonna spend my time? What do I want to do with myself? What do I want to think of myself and others? And like what the fuck is the point of this shit? You know what I mean? It's that confusion. Like our whole YouTube channels and the nature, the quality of the conversation right now and everything every single day is people trying to fucking be happy and people trying to help or people not being happy yourself. So now you're projecting that and making others suffer. All the crazy shit that's going on in the world right now, all the war, all the starving and all the fucking poverty and all the just crazy fucking shit, bro. Like right now we have our conversation going on. This is something I think to myself sometimes, but just using this as an example, we're just chilling here talking right now. We're talking about self-development and growth and spirituality and psychedelics and stuff. There's someone being robbed and murdered and fucking tortured and war and someone starving to death and there is all sorts of crazy fucking shit going on in the world right now. And sometimes like I realize that as expanded as my perspective can seem to be at times of spirituality and awareness and all that stuff, sometimes I also feel like I'm living in a fucking bubble because like when I see stuff on social media or just different stuff that's going on in the world, realizing like, holy shit, there is 8 billion other situations going on right now. I'm sitting here talking about fucking reality and self and love and what it all is about while there's all these other things going on. And I just realized how big and complex life is on Earth. You know what I mean? It's trippy. It's a trippy idea.
Mhm. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, when you think about it like that, how we are
Yeah.
just having this conversation, but in every single one of what is it, 8 billion? Is that the population?
Something like that. Something like
Yeah.
that.
But to every like think about that, 8 billion, but one, like it's all it takes is one on top of one on top of one on top of one to get there. And every one has their entirely different outlook, their
Yeah.
story, their environment, their circumstances, their perspective, and what's going on, especially not just in general, but right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right now, it doesn't matter if they're sleeping. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of the day. It doesn't matter. Whatever. The whole Earth, the whole universe is happening right now.
Yeah, I
Here we
know,
are.
and it's far out, bro.
It's far out as fuck. It's like, what are we doing, bro? It's like reading that Indeed ad. It's like, what the fuck is going on anyway? There's people fucking shooting at each other and throwing bombs and rocket launchers, and it's like, what are we doing?
yeah. Meanwhile, I'm on my Indeed advertising like this job, like, oh, these job responsibilities seem so cringy. Do I really see myself doing this? But it's fine because I'm not even scrolling through that shit anymore, anyways. Because guess what? I actually got a job offer, so
Let's
I'm
go. Let's
I'm like,
go.
okay. But it's actually
Yeah.
something that I want to do. Is very niche down my alley in the sense of what I was doing previously.
What is it?
I was previously like in my current role, I was directing youth sports programs and
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
my company I just feel like themes were very inconsistent. There's too many red flags, wasn't that organized, and I had a demotion recently, like in November, for reasons that were out of my control. And I got dealt a shitty hand, and I tried to take as much ownership as I could over everything. But at the end of the day, it just seemed like things fell in my hand in like a state that was not setting me up for success, really. So there was already a deep hole to climb out of. I got demoted. There's not enough programs for me to run. I'm not getting enough hours. Ultimately, at the end, I feel like I'm not really being respected enough for
Yeah.
like what I'm doing and how much I have tried to contribute, and I'm not like I'm saying I'm not getting enough hours. So I was trying to search for something, and that's what was causing me that cringe and the whole like idea of purpose and that subject, trying to explore that further and what purpose really means, because I was really hung up on it in the month of December. There's points where I felt like some days I was really depressed because I was like, oh, like, do I even have a purpose? Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to figure it out, And I watched some YouTube videos here and there. I reflected, and uh, it kind of just came to me that it's not the purpose isn't just going to come out of nowhere. It's going to be me trying to work without a purpose in order to find the purpose. You
Facts,
had
bro.
you had to like work at it without the purpose, because the goal is to strive towards a goal. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if you think maybe like, or at least past you maybe thought that the oh, these goals are too lofty, or this the subject matter in which these goals are like, I can't think of the word, but you probably get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
let's say I'm working a job at Home Depot, like why would I give a shit about Home Depot? But that's the exact mentality that is causing you to not strive towards anything, because you're not seeing anything as an opportunity. Like, okay, let's say I was put in a good has or not a good situation, but just some random situation at Home Depot where I had to try to work my ass off and figure something out, and then boom, I get promoted. You see it as an opportunity, and hopefully you move up the ladder a little bit. That's just that's just an example. Do you even have Home Depots where you're from?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Just
What the fuck's
so
a
you
Home
understand.
Depot? Home
You're,
Depot.
you're like, what the hell is
Home
Home
Depot.
Depot? But yeah, where was I going with this? Oh, my job offer. So I mean, I was really trying to be open-minded. At the same time, I didn't really know like what to apply to. I was just kind of lost because my current role is really a niche job. There's not a whole bunch of just youth sports jobs out there, and I ended up finding one. It's for this ultimate frisbee, professional ultimate frisbee team where around where I live, and it's really crazy because I didn't even know like there was such a thing as professional frisbee leagues and shit like that. So I'm
Little
like,
do you know, you're gonna be a world famous frisbee player 20
it's not
years from
even
now.
no, I'm not even there to play. It's just
Oh shit.
it's the position of working for the organization and
Yeah.
trying to implement youth frisbee programs, trying to get the kids involved. And honestly, it sounds cool. Like, frisbee's a cool sport. I mean, all you need is a fucking disc, and you just fly it everywhere. You play it like it's similar to football and soccer and basketball, like all those sports a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of a combination, and it's very heavily focused on sportsmanship because of the fact that there's a lot of honor rules. So like predominantly ultimate frisbee isn't even played by refs. It's just not played by refs, but it doesn't have referees because there's honor rules where people are actually practicing integrity and shit like that. So there's a good focus on that, and I think I have the opportunity to implement something different and actually add value and structure to something that's up and coming that I didn't get to in my role now because I wasn't necessarily given the chance to. So that's how I'm seeing it. We create our own reality. So this
Facts.
was something that I've been trying to snatch essentially for the last month. I know Will and I went on a hike at the beginning of the month, and I was talking about this role because I actually just interviewed for it the day I hiked with Will. So this was something that I was just thinking of a vision in my head, like, hey, what if I got this role and I'm working this role because it's half remote work, and the guy that hired me essentially, or he says that essentially like we he wouldn't expect us to fuck, I can't even speak, bro. He wouldn't expect me to work more than like 25 or 30 hours a week, but I'm still like getting paid salary. It's not a whole bunch of money, but it's just enough to save and have consistent income.
Hmm.
And it'll give me enough time because I'm not working that full 40 hours. It'll give me that enough time to finish my degree, pursue health coaching, hopefully eventually down the line, get a personal training certification, integrate those things into our YouTube channel. And the ultimate idea is to really build an entire business out of our brand, and having Will hopefully um, write more and really like integrate his passion for writing into the channel or the brand name. And
So you
I'll
guys
have
want to make Shadow Ascent a business,
yeah,
based in like health, like what would the business be?
holistic development, more so
Fuck
focused on
yeah.
masculine development.
Why masculine development?
Um, because of our journey as men and how we're developing, and I just feel like it can apply to both genders, but there needs to be a niche, and it seems like that niche is really more focused on masculinity.
Hmm. That's really cool. That's really cool. I didn't know that's the direction you guys were kind of going in.
Yeah, and I think a vast majority of our viewers are men as well. So
Have you
are
seen
men
that?
like age 18 to 25, I'm pretty sure. So
Have you seen that on like the analytics on
yeah,
YouTube?
yeah.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
YouTube Studio, yeah. So
Yeah, dude. That's a fun little app to go on
it
sometimes.
is. I
Yeah.
use it probably more than YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, dude.
Um,
No, that's beautiful, bro. Like the famous one-liner is monetize your passion.
mhm.
Take what you want to do and find a way to use that to live in this culture that we live in of having to make money to financially support yourself and stuff, you know? And like the way I've thought about it for a while now is like it's better to be making money and thinking about how to make your own money rather than not making money and thinking about how to make your own money. Basically, it's better to have a job and think about how to make your own business than it is to be unemployed thinking about how to make your own business. In the meantime, do the grind, do the fucking job, go to the job, do the hours, find something that can best fit your situation where you're at right here and now, and do that and put in the time and service. But scheme, always consider of where you could go with it and what it is that you like and how you could develop it. And like as far as dreams are concerned and our goals and our aspirations, a lot of us just kind of think of a goal and wonder if it's going to happen or not. Or we think of a dream of, oh wow, that would be beautiful, that would, and it's good, it would help people, it would help you, it would be good for your life, it would be good for others, all that stuff. It's a beautiful vision, but that's it. It's this vision of where you want to be. But like we don't consider that there's steps needed to get to that point. When you have a dream, that entails a whole lot of work and a process of elimination of what you need to do to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like you go out at the edge of a forest and your goal is to get to the other side of the forest. You don't get to the other side of the forest by just fucking envisioning what it's going to be like on the other side of the forest.
You gotta go.
You get to the other side of the forest by knowing how to move through that forest. And to tie that in, that is what the steps would be to bring your dream into fruition, which is
Well,
very.
and
What's up?
also, I'm to continue on that analogy is you don't just take those steps to the forest. You're gonna hit, let's say, a random rock structure that you literally can't go past because the terrain is too dangerous. So you have to turn back and figure out your way past it, you know?
Exactly, bro.
So as though getting the vision and what you're saying is very I can't think of the word, but it is related to health coaching and what I'm trying to work on right now through my coursework. And if I can integrate that into the channel and helping people through health coaching, it's very spot on with the idea of making a vision, but taking those steps and guiding people towards taking those steps and identifying barriers and filling in the gaps and what needs to be done to reach that vision. And along the way, editing it and like,
Hmm.
hey, this isn't concrete. Like we can change this that along the way based on what works, what doesn't, what you feel like maybe could be modified even more to reach this vision. And the vision itself can be modified too.
Right.
It's really dependent on the person. So that's like the whole idea of health coaching. That so it's funny that you're saying that.
Yeah, dude. Like we have a dream, but we don't have a means of bringing that dream into fruition, you know? And like just for example, in like writing a book, which Will, I'm sure you're very familiar with this, you have this vision of a book that you'd like to write. Um, you can't, you need to write the fucking book. You can't just, it's a vision of a book. Oh, wow, a book, that would be so cool. You need to actually write the fucking book, you know? And then you get writing. You don't jump around from I'm writing a little bit and now I'm going to design the fucking book cover and now I'm going to design the description and now I'm going to make a table of contents and then I'm going to write a little bit and then I'm going to edit and revise. There's a process that you go through of how to make that book come into fruition, you know? And like talking about dreams or goals rather, I'm in a situation where I've been gifted 2.5 acres of land by my grandfather. And I often look at that. There's a lot of fear involved with it of becoming an owner of the property and getting a house on that property and living there on my own. And oh, I won't be able to support myself. And oh, is that really what I want to do? But I often find myself looking at it as where else am I going to be offered ownership of fucking land? You know, and
Yeah,
2.5 acres is a nice,
that's
you don't need that much more. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice fucking little plot of land. And I find myself realizing that that's, as far as livelihood goes, that's the direction I see myself going in. And I want to live, I don't know if you guys know what a yurt is, but I want to have a big old luxury yurt. It's those circular homes with like a dome light at the top. You know what I mean? Beautiful, beautiful little thing. Not for everybody, but when I learned what a yurt was years ago, I absolutely fell in love with the idea of it. And I
mhm.
want to live, and it's affordable. Like a fucking pimped out luxury yurt will cost you like $40,000 and you're allowed to live in them and all this stuff. And I have this goal of living on my own property out in the woods because that's where it is. It's a fucking piece of land out in the woods. My own property out in the woods, on my own place, supporting myself financially on my own home, vibing. But how am I going to get there? There's a lot of fucking steps. And the first step is that's the overwhelming feeling of it, where we have a dream but we don't know how to get there, and there's all these steps. You don't just do everything at once. There's a process, there's a sequence of what to do, you know. And for me right now, that's I had to plot out the 2.5 acres, plot and measure out the 2.5 acres that I want, and find that area and determine if it's the right size, too much or not enough or whatever. And then I have to have surveyors from the town and the state come and check the drainage levels of the soil and if it's viable to put a house on and all this shit, and developing a driveway, and then fucking having the land actually posted out as a plot of land that's in the town's books or whatever, in their records, and then becoming a landowner, and then the steps of developing a driveway so that you can get out there to make a home. All these fucking steps, and it all starts with, it's a sequence, you know. And that's
Wait,
that's
so you're this land you've been gifted, it's
yeah.
It's just random land with
My
nothing
gra-
on it.
my grandfather owns 32 acres of land, and
Okay.
I'd say about 3/4 of it is just fucking woods.
Wow.
And he has gifted not only my dad and my aunt properties of land. I think they both have 3-acre plots of land, but he's gifted me and my brother 2.5-acre plots of land. And both my brother and I can go out into those woods and pick, where do
Uh-huh.
I want to live? Where the
Oh
fuck,
wow.
what part of the woods do I like the most? And we've found those parts, and we've kind of measured it out. Like, I fucking ran string across the perimeter of what I want and stuff. All these fucking steps, you know? And I think about,
Yeah.
damn, am I going to be able to support myself? And just all this stuff, you know? And the point really in sharing this is that there's a process, you know. We have a dream. That's the first step, is identifying what it is you're going after, you know. And we're talking about in a realistic, simple, straightforward, worldly sense of, where do I want to live? How am I going to make money? How am I going to be a part of this society? All that stuff. There's a process to it, you know, and that's in identifying, having a plan. You know what I mean? Terrence McKenna, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with, he has a quote, which is, if you don't have a plan, you become a part of someone else's plan. Where if you don't devise and work towards your own life, you're just gonna fucking go down the conveyor belt of someone else's dream and plan and what they have acquired, and you're just going to be a pawn, and you're not going to be a player, and you're not going to take the reins of your life into your hands and go forward and be here for your life. You're just going to kind of fucking fall asleep into your role, you know, and you're going to find yourself drifting around, floating around, doing random shit, and then bitching about the fact that you're doing it, and just essentially wasting your fucking life and sleeping, being completely asleep and numb to your actual power and that you have in creating your own life and living the life that you aspire to, you know what I mean? So it's crazy fucking shit, and I feel where you guys are coming from, the confusion and the hassle and the age that we're all at. We're all kind of at the same age, you know. We're all in that process of, what am I going to do? What am I going to do, and how am I going to make it happen? Oh no, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to find what I need to do and all that shit. So I feel you guys. I relate very deeply.
Our 20s are very important aspect, or not not aspect, but it's very important time of
Mm-hmm.
development
Yeah.
and where you're really going to be in your 30s and your 40s. Which is not to say like you can't just figure it out, you know, in your 30s and 40s, but at that point it's like you're not setting yourself up for success if you're not trying to do something in your 20s.
Yeah.
Uh, for me, as of late, it's actually been tough, I would say, to find like a level of balance, because with like YouTube specifically, I want to do everything that like Alex mentioned, especially with like trying to expand it and you know, create writing, blogs, posts, but
Yeah, that's what I was
more
just thinking.
mainly, yeah, like mainly integrate that into the channel, which is something that, you know, you're like you were talking about, you have to do. You can't just think it.
Yeah.
Um, but specifically lately, I've been talking to this girl and we've been dating a little bit, and like a lot of energy for me, I'm not gonna lie, has been going towards that. And so what I've been struggling with, I would say, and it's not just because of that, but like the balance of everything, of how to, you know, exert something into that, have it still have enough left to focus on what I want to do with my own personal life, with what I want to do in terms of my goals, also just other relationships that I have in my life, and how to figure out how to balance all of that, which is something, I'm not gonna lie, I've really been kind of struggling with lately, like trying to find that sort of
Yeah. You're juggling.
alignment.
You're fucking
Yeah,
juggling. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I
and
feel you, bro.
yeah, and it's like I'm
It,
allowing myself at least the time and the feeling of like, all right, you know, this is gonna be a process, you know, like I
Mhm.
don't want to be too hard on myself, but I also realize that finding that balance is largely my responsibility,
Yep.
so I got to be the one to do
Accountability,
it.
like you were
Accountability.
talking about. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
facts, man. Um, talking about being distracted from YouTube in particular with this girl in your life, I had a situation, bro, where like I got involved with this girl, and I think I've told you quite a bit about it actually, Will. Just fucking madly in love, like mad love, like fucking deep shit. And you know that I went fucking like 2 months without making a video, and for that very reason, because my mind is elsewhere, you know. And there was this one moment where I said to her, I was like, because we were talking about making videos in my YouTube channel, and I was like, I just want to tell it all to you. You know what I mean? And it was so funny because it's like,
You're hella funny, dude.
whoa, that sounds romantic. That sounds sweet and all, but wait a minute. Fuck everybody else. I just want to tell you. It's like, no, like what I'm doing, I need to expand. I need to expand.
The thing is, sorry.
No, you're all good, homie. You're all good.
Okay. I no, I totally like see where you guys are coming from. So I'm trying to like practice the empathy of like being in other people's shoes. Like I see where you guys are coming from. But it seems like uh not seems like, but I think whoever she is, you know, like in subjective to you guys and anybody else who's viewing this, will respect you more for pursuing the mission that you feel like
Yeah.
you need to pursue.
Yeah.
Because even though she'll be maybe a little bit disappointed at sometimes, like, oh, I don't get to see you, she's not going to take it out on you because she knows you know what you want.
Yeah, and like imagining like I said, it sounds all sweet and romantic, but in retrospect, having looked back on it and reflected on it, it's like, wait, so I'm gonna drop my passion for sharing with people and helping and offering to people, all because I'm in love with this one human being, and she is that's who I want to talk to. That's where my energy goes. You know what I mean? Completely disabling all other channels and facets of my life, and like flipping the perspective around, imagining someone else in my life where they don't, you know, I don't want to see my family. I only love you. It's like, whoa, like chill, bro. Like, no, like I'm not the only person that exists. Like, and oh no, fuck my business. I just want to be around you as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, no,
Fuck
dude,
my business.
there's a fucking balance, bro. There's a balance, and
It's
yeah, it is to see someone say, "I love you," but I have things I gotta do. You know, put simply, I love you, but there's things that I'm working on. That is very much so to be respected. And if you're any sort of emotionally mature, down to earth, and have your own fucking passions, you'll understand that. And like you said, Alex, you'll fucking appreciate it. You will respect that. Like, yeah, like, and you'll be able to work together in that sense. You know what I mean? Where you love each other, but you're not each other's entire fucking world and everything else falls away. You know what I mean?
and that's actually been like very akin to what I'm kind of feeling right now, is like you want to exert so much, like to where you kind of lose sight of other things.
Yeah.
And it can be little things too, like literally just your daily routines, your work, your schedule, and things like that. And it's crazy how it can actually just like almost sort of blind you to it. It's like you could be so like, oh yeah, I just want to be with you. Like,
Yeah. It
um,
consumes you, and you don't give
it
anybody
does.
else the time of day, and you let all your shit go because you're completely invested in this feeling that you have towards this person. Like, dude, there was this fucking situation where like I thought this girl at my work was cute, okay? And I'm out on break. And I don't usually go outside for my lunch breaks, but she goes outside for her lunch break, so I'm gonna go outside on my lunch break so I can just be near her, you know what I mean? And I'm out on my lunch break. And this guy was fucking talking to me. And I'm talking to him, we're having a conversation, and then this girl that I thought, you know, was kind of cute was going to walk in the building. And I completely like fucking like we're in a conversation. It would be like we're talking right now, and then I just go off and start talking to someone else. I just completely look past this guy and watch this girl walk back into the building. And I forgot what we were talking about, me and this guy. I completely dismissed his existence to look at this girl. You know what I'm saying? And that's the shit. When I realized that like we got to be fucking careful with our infatuation and the focus and the primal, like, not lust in a sexual sense, but lust in the sense of like craving that being, you know, and how my attention was completely dismantled from that person I was talking with because this pretty girl walked by. And that's not very loving and compassionate and present to do in my eyes. The present thing is, if someone's talking to me, so fucking talk with them. You know, hold on, there's a really cute girl walking by. All right, what were you saying? You know what I'm saying? That's cringy as fuck. You talk about cringy, that's fucking cringy, you know? And just yeah, there was another thing revolved around the love and the relationships thing, but I can't really think of it. Oh yeah. Ram Dass, to bring him up again, talks about how like we often treat relationships like once you got a relationship, you're like, okay, there. Now that I have that locked down, now I can go and do all this stuff. As if it's some sort of default that you need to just have. Okay, now I have a relationship. That's all good. Now I can go and learn how to be happy or whatever the fuck it is. But he talks about how relationships, you know, he's into Hinduism and Buddhism, and he talks about the different types of yoga that there are, of not just yoga of doing postures with your body, but breathing techniques and just all sorts of different yogas. And he talks about, with every type of yoga that I've learned about and involved myself with, the yoga of relationships is the most complicated form of yoga that I know. And it's not something that you can put on the back burner. When you get in a relationship, it becomes like, and if you get in a relationship with the intention and the desire to utilize that relationship as a means of awakening further, not only for you, but for that other being that you're in a relationship with, that takes a lot of fucking work, a lot of work. You know what I mean? And I don't have really a lot of experience in utilizing a relationship as a form of awakening. You know what I mean? But I absolutely see what he's talking about in how complicated that is. Like, just thinking of like you can learn all this shit, you can be all fancy and articulate and know all this knowledge and all this stuff, but how are you in the room with someone that you're attracted to? Not even someone that you're attracted to, how are you when you're alone in a room with just someone? Are you fucking awkward and tense and, yeah, so wow, what's the weather like out there today? Oh wow, that's cool. How was your day? Okay, yeah. Like, relationships are trippy, the way we engage with each other. You know what I'm saying? And like, making videos is easy because you're not in a conversation with someone where they can retaliate and give feedback and offer different perspectives. You're just sharing your mind, you know. But when you're actually in the moment experience and situation with someone, it's fucking trippy and it's complicated. And at least with me, I'm always over analyzing and like, what is this? What, you know, how can I help? Am I comparing? Like we were talking about, fucking comparing myself to them, all this complicated shit. And that's part of why I'm of course I'm over here fucking desiring a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't desire a relationship, that's honestly like really impressive in this culture that we live in, you know. But although that I desire to have this being in my life in the fashion of being with them to awaken and grow together, I also am a little bit hesitant and fearful, honestly, of that very desire, because someone comes into my life, it's this feeling that I'm going to be distracted, like kind of like what we've all been talking about. It's this feeling of that I'm going to be distracted from my meditations and from my introspection and my philosophy and my development and my YouTube channel and all these things. It's this fear that I'm going to be distracted from what really, really, really matters to me. You know, I'm over here working on myself, fucking trying to figure shit out and figure out how I operate and how I want to relate to this life and what I want to do in my life and how I want to be as a person. And then to just go and get someone else involved with my shit show
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if I'm quite ready and or willing to do that right now. I don't want to overcomplicate my life and their life by being in this intimate situation that both of us collectively don't fucking understand. You know what I'm saying? All these
Yeah,
feelings.
no.
It's crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like that's I understand where you're coming from, especially like kind of not wanting to do that. Or
Yeah.
by the way, like 10 minutes, I probably got to get going.
That's
I'm
okay,
going
man.
to, I need to go hit the gym. But like for me, that was me for a long time. Like for a solid 4 or 5 years, I really was just I don't want anything to do with it. And suddenly, like it's still early, but it feels like there's something that's building up there, like in the form of a relationship. And it's like the first time I've gone through it.
Hmm.
So it's been like heavy in a lot of ways, both good and bad, right? And it's like, but trying to find that like level-headedness of like, okay, yes, I like you, but I also have a life. Like I have things
Yeah,
that I have
right, right. That's
to
so
think
funny.
about and focus on and prioritize and people too. Like I want to still appreciate like my family, my friends, you guys, like YouTube, like all these things. And I'm not saying like I haven't, but I want to like not lose sight of the things that really matter and still be grateful and still be me. Um, but it's a challenge.
It
It
is a
really is a
challenge, man.
challenge
I feel you.
because
It's
you
supposed to be like that. In a relationship, I still, I mean, I've been in my relationship for almost 6 years, and I still feel like that at times where like there's that finding the balance between really spending time with her and being fully present there, and then also the times where like what like do I want to try to accomplish in my life, and is maybe spending time with her not the right choice, or like talking to her over the phone late at night, is that really the right choice, or could I be doing something different, you know? So I I struggle with that at times, and to me, like the way I see is women, they crave like the intimacy and relationships, and it's part of the beauty of femininity. It's more like intimate, and that's what femininity is going to like focus on. But if you have a more masculine essence, you're more focused on the mission and like what are we getting done, you know? And everyone has those aspects to themselves, the masculine and the feminine, but you know, most people probably have one that's more present than the other.
Hmm.
So like with women, you know, with my girlfriend, it's like she really wants my attention a lot, and sometimes maybe like she's able to successfully gain my attention when maybe I wasn't necessarily trying to give that attention in the first place because I'm more focused on something else.
yeah.
But then there's times where like, hey, like I really need to spend time with her, and I don't mind like kind of just pushing everything off to the side, you know. It's to connect with her in a deeper, more intimate way. And it helps me connect honestly with like my own femininity that I have, and being more intimate with her, and kind of like getting a little bit more of that rejuvenated feeling of being able to spend time with her, uh, and really embrace that connection romantically.
That's beautiful, man. I like that a lot. 6 years is a lot of time to be in an intimate relationship with someone and to be growing and to be still working together. You know what I mean? I don't know this girl you're with and what she's like and what her life is like, but the ability for you guys to work together and to continue to work together. And I've watched your videos and listened to you talk about the struggles and the challenges with that stuff. And it's so beautiful, man. It's so beautiful, the commitment and the work and the struggles and um the overcoming, you know, the the growing together. It's so beautiful, and equally it's so complicated and confusing, you know what I mean? And I love the bringing into the picture the not the divine, but the masculine and the feminine. See, I immediately just think of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but really, yeah, the masculine and the feminine, and how humans fucking human and kind of like low key all of life, you know, kind of expresses itself as the feminine and the masculine, you know, the yin and the yang, the opposites, and how they relate to each other, you know, and how in yin and yang, within each of each other is the seed of the other, meaning that they define each other. One is there because of the other, you know, and that's a whole conversation of its own. But just realizing the the importance and how necessary each one is, and the confusion in trying to learn what defines those qualities of ourselves, of the masculine and the feminine, you know what I mean? Really trying to learn, okay, yeah, sure, I'm a male and that's a female, but what does it mean for being to be a male? What does it mean for her to be a female? And what about in my own being is the male and the female, the yin yang within me, you know what I mean? And what part of me is in her and what part of her is in me, you know what I mean? It's so fucking crazy. It's so
Yeah.
crazy. But I feel like it's so important if you want to have a deep, meaningful, dare I say, divine connection with somebody where you're down to earth, growing together, you know what I mean? It's part of why I am like little hesitant, little I don't know if I want to get involved with that right now, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
mainly where that comes from.
that's perfectly fine. You know, that's the thing. Like relationships, I feel like can be romanticized heavily in
Facts.
society, in the world. It's like you were talking about the order you go in from graduating high school, college, getting a wife, having kids, all this stuff, finding a job. And it's in the middle of that, right, is finding a partner, finding someone you want to fall in love with, but it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many reasons and facets to it all, like that can either provoke you to desire that immensely or kind of not, or perhaps you
Right.
feel like it's not meant for, or at least for the time being, you kind of don't want it as much. And so it's kind of where it's just like to each their own.
Yep.
With
Facts,
that.
bro.
And I think it's just so a lot of times, especially with that, you have to realize that a lot of it is out of your control in terms of who just enters the picture.
Yep.
And so that's why even if you are desiring that, which like, you know, most people do, at least in the long run, there's a level of like patience and acceptance that you need to have within yourself that like, okay, I can do a lot to get in that position, to make something like that happen, but there's a lot that's way out of my control.
Yeah.
And the stars really do have to like align in such a synchronized manner that is beyond ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that, man.
But it is I probably got to get going here. I still have to hit the gym tonight, so
That's cool. I appreciate it. He's got to get going to go fucking
Yeah.
hustle, bro. He's got to
Yes.
get out of here to go fucking.
When you come back, we'll meet and talk about our YouTube goals.
All right. I don't know if I'll be able to tonight, actually. Can you do tomorrow morning?
No, I'm like hella busy until like 2 o'clock tomorrow.
He just doesn't want to give you attention, Will. That's what it is.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
Alex, he needs your fucking attention and intimacy. Can't you see that? Open your eyes, man. He needs you.
Sunday would be better. Sunday would be better.
I'll put it all aside to hang out with you on Sunday, Will.
Yeah.
So I watched the Niners game on Sunday.
Yeah, possibly.
Because Eric said
is it?
Eric said he's free. I think the game's I don't know. I think it's 3:30, but I might be wrong. Maybe it's a little later than that.
What do you say, Will? Cut out.
I should be able to make it on Sunday.
Can I come?
But, yeah, fly out.
All right, I'm on my way. I'm on my way, guys. I'll book the ticket. I'll book the ticket right now.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So do I just leave?
Yeah, you got to at least say bye, though, bro.
No, I'm gonna Irish goodbye real quick.
That's
I'll
awesome.
see you guys. Have a good
Alex,
night.
yeah, you
It's
too,
been,
Will. It's been so nice talking, man.
yeah, but wonderful, guys. Keep going. Keep going. You guys gonna keep up the video, by the way?
No, dude, it's way too weird and tense when it's just me and Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right, boys.
See you, homie.
All right, see you, man.
Whoa, that was weird. Alex, what time is it for you? 9, 8, 7, 6, 6:53. You're fucking chilling, bro. It's 10 o'clock at night for me. It's been a good
Yeah.
talk, man. It's been a good talk. And it's been so nice to catch up. And yeah, the fashion of how we just rather than I thought about scripting something out of questions or topics or whatever. I was like, no, fuck that, bro. I just wanna hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's better like that. I know. I just felt like I heard when we would make videos like that, it just ended up being too much of like a. It felt like too much of an act almost.
Oh my god, I know. Like we're all just chilling, doing our thing, but the second a camera goes on, and we get all weird, you know, and it's such a big deal too. Like sometimes I'll have the passion and the inspiration to make a video, so I set my camera up and I start talking, and I can't fucking get it out. I can't share it, you know, and I'm all caught up in, oh, I'm not saying that right, and oh, this is stupid, and fuck this, you know. And I've learned to develop trust and faith in when I have something to share, it will arise and the phone will get set up and the microphone will be set up, and then I'll just fucking talk, you know. And if it's meant to be shared and uploaded, it will happen. And if it's one of those moments where I talk for 3 minutes and then feel like I'm not doing it right and then end the video and forget about it, that will be that, you know. And it's so weird, right? When a camera comes on, like if we weren't recording this, you know what I'm saying? Just that weird, oh, it's weird. We're being recorded. People are watching us. You know what I mean?
Those two people might view this. I mean, it's like a 2 hour video. I doubt that many people are gonna be like tuning in, being like watching it. But at the same time, who cares? I
People
mean,
people do love that shit though, bro. Like
interesting. You know,
what's that?
I said it's interesting that people do love that shit. I mean, I hope maybe people listen to this and gain some insight and give some feedback and add their touch to it because I want to engage with people more on YouTube or wherever else. So I'm hoping because you'll upload this to your channel and I'll upload it to ours.
Yep.
And I'm hoping people will engage with it. And if they don't, then oh well. But
And dude, it whether they hit that little thumbs up or if they comment or not, or if they watch the whole thing or not, it's available. It's the idea of
yeah,
making it available. And someone could be on a car ride or at work or running or exercising or cleaning their house. And it's delightful to have a 2-hour video of people talking to you. It's like what podcasts are, you know, this
yeah,
fucking all sorts of that shit. And I love it. I love it. I'm one of those guys that feels like I don't want to be pressured into making tinier videos and shorts and fucking little clips and little fucking 5-minute bombs of information. Because I don't want to I don't want to perpetuate our fucking diminishing attention span. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't fucking learn in 30 seconds. Of course, that's highly variable, and in some situations you will. But to really take the time to dive in and really flesh out and break all the pieces apart and invest yourself in describing and talking and or having a conversation, like in this case, I feel like that's really important because it shows who we are for 2 hours, you know what I mean? And rather than a cutthroat fucking clean and dry just short thing, and I'm making it short because people don't like long things. I don't want to I can't think of the fucking word. I don't want to I'm not trying to fucking dance for the crew of people that are looking for short, immediate gratification. You know what I mean? I like to, if my video is 5 minutes long or if my video is 2 hours long, it is what it is, and you're gonna watch it or you're not gonna watch it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, the point is to just put it out there, and
Yeah,
whoever comes across it, that's how it was meant to be.
yeah, facts, facts.
Good conversations is what leads, and the visceral experiences too, which is like people observing this would be more visceral for them, and like observing us and talking about our experiences. But really, it's like those two things are really important in developing some level of self-determination and building upon that. So it, like, if whoever's watching this, if you somehow made it to the end, first of all, thank you. But also, like, if you made it to the end, hopefully you'll listen this little bit. I can't remember exactly what I was going to say,
Oh
but
shit! Now they clicked off for sure.
oh man, with self-determination, I mean, it doesn't just start with yourself. You have to build off other people, really. I mean, that's the whole experience of being human, is building off others. We're not meant to be going at it all solo.
Mm-hmm. Fucking relationship, relating, you know, interrelationship, interconnection, you know what I mean? Living life together. We're not isolated, we're related. Everything is relationship, you know? And did you vibe with what I was saying about how, like, when you're making videos, there's not someone there to retaliate or put their 2 cents in or to say what they think, you know? So it's literally just you sharing how you feel, and then people will make of it what they make of it after the fact, you know what I mean? But when you're in an immediate moment with someone like you and I right now, or when Will was here, or you're hanging out with somebody, you know, it's a lot different. It's a lot different to actually be in the present moment, relating with an entire other human being, an entire other soul that has their own experience and their own work they're doing. It's a lot more complex in that sense, you know?
For sure.
But yeah, how you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Right now?
Yeah, like I'm thinking about heading out. I don't think I've ever been the one to be like, all right, I'm gonna call it. But yeah, I'm kind
Oh
of
yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I was about ready to end it. I'm gonna finish my last two slices of pizza, and
yeah, dude,
I
let's go.
was I just started a project for a video that I want to upload this weekend, but you can't just imagine it like we were saying. It's got to be done. So I'm gonna try to
Facts.
do it tonight.
Hell yeah, man. And I hope you find that flow state, and I hope you find that motivation and that thread of working with that and making that dream come into fruition, man.
For sure.
But yeah, Will dipped out. Alex, thank you so much for talking, man. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad to have caught up and to see how you've been. I love you guys so much. Psychonaut Visions, Shadow Ascent. I love you guys so much. And you guys were my OG collab way back fucking 4 years ago or whatever it's been now. And yeah, it's just so beautiful catching up, and then not only catching up but deciding to hit record, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
being able to offer this to the different communities that we have on YouTube. So yeah, thank you so much, man. It was really fun.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to the recording and having it sent to me so I can look over and
Hell yeah,
just
man.
send it off.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock right now, so, and I have tomorrow off, so tomorrow I'll send it to you, probably just through email or whatever it is. But yeah, I'll get that sent to you, and we'll be able to do what we do with it.
For sure.
Thank you, man.
All right. Thank you. See you, man. Take
See you,
care.
bro. Yeah, you as well.